Like, yeah, I've got a question for you, mate. Obviously, when Big famously played against this team, it was actually more like 2017. It was a slightly different squad, but there's some of the elements are still the same. What I want to ask you, Lagir, is what was it actually like to play against Prime coldzera? Like, what was he like at his peak?
Avoid him. Avoid him. No, it was. The problem is this guy's fucking clutch. It's not that he's only fucking good player, but he carries when he has to carry, and he will not give you a fucking easy win. And we were in general a team that we never try to avoid somebody. Like, we obviously try to play a lot anti against him and kind of avoid it, but we had good equipment usage, and I think it was whoever you are, it doesn't matter. We had very good equipment usage, and we can get room if we want to. Sometimes he will obviously shut down 5 people like on Inferno he did, but I don't know. In general, it's hard to say. He was a fucking insane player, and if he has momentum and starts riding the wave, then you will just not stop him. But I don't know. I think that we had for us it was good that we had Thorin, who was also I would say his best prime time. I would say
it's very good, yeah.
And I think that at this point, I also said it to you when we were in LA sitting outside, telling you that I think that if he's playing his best game, I think he's the best player in the world in this match, because he can just beat anybody and he will just carry games. And he also gave us as a team a huge boost with his mentality, just how he has been. But I think in general, I think beating SK was for us just by team effort and playing just beautiful Counter-Strike. But see, the thing is, playing against SK and against Fnatic is two different things. I personally think, for example, because against SK you can start playing chess games. Against Fnatic you cannot, because they are, how can I say, they're fucking unpredictable. But SK has always a certain pattern that you can maybe read, maybe not read, but sometimes they will outread you as well, And I think it was a good, Goppy was calling excellent against them, but it was also a team that since we studied them a lot, we obviously knew quite a lot from them and how they play the game. And we also obviously knew at the major that it is going to be Inferno, and we hardly prepared for that as well. I think that the Goppy helped us, I think, the most actually in these games to win.
Were you guys kind of similar to us? Because you had Goppy, which I just from growing up, I remember watching, and I know how good he is. And from talks we used to have in hotels, I know how tactile he could have been. So for our teams, we always said, let's try not to play into the opponent's strength. So if we think Big is a super heavily tactical team, we're going to try to play a little bit scrimmier and make them out of their comfort zone, right? If they're a team that wants to play off of the rotations and the mollies, we're going to get some more aggressive in their face, pop flashes, things like that. And if we're playing a Fnatic, we're like, okay, this team, we're actually going to try to play with their minds. Let's get in their heads because they like to play gap style. So let's start off let's save a little bit of extra money and start this map with double ops just from the beginning, because if they try to walk out, we're going to shut them down. And now for the rest of the match, I think they're going to think twice between trying to get so scrimmy on us. So was it like that for you as well, Because I always wanted to understand how other teams work, get some insight as well.
100%. And that's what I tell you also, we were ready for any style that the team can play, just because we were thinking this far to say, okay, guys, there's different styles of Counter-Strike. We have to have answers for every single style. And that's why we were also able to adapt. And Gop was very smart at reading what pace the team is playing and what they're going to try to approach in this game. So he was already saying, guys, I think this style they will play. And we already knew kind of how we have to adapt and play throughout the game. But in general, I think that Gop he's just too intelligent. I'm telling you, because he's. I personally think the Ingham leader that had an unfortunate timing in CSGO, not because of his age, but if he would actually play now and be a little bit better than he was when he played with us together, I think he would outcall Glaive 1,000,000%. Because now in Counter-Strike, it's the moment where you can level with your opponents and level with the Ingham leaders. Back then it wasn't, because teams didn't have different styles. Teams are so smart these days. Every single team is so smart these days that they are all now having answers for everything. Back then it was only for certain teams, but we were smart enough to copy and learn from these teams. And I think that was only the only reason that we could beat big teams like that and upset them. Because I know for a fact teams feared playing against us. Good team feared playing against us. Other teams didn't, like a Vega Squadron didn't give a fuck playing big.
Sure.
But I know that FaZe did. I know that the SK did. Because they knew that we play good Counter-Strike. They understand Counter-Strike on a different level. And they see that, and I know the teams copied also a lot from us.
Just to bring it back a little bit to the coldzera topic, like one thing I want to say about that is, because as you said, like, yeah, like one of the crazy things about him as well is there's a lot of like superstar players, people who are amazing players who aren't actually that clutch, you know, because it's a different part of the game. Some, like I always used to say, I always thought that was an area where, just as a random example, I always thought like Forrest was just kind of a bit average in the clutch, you know. It could be amazing, like if he's entering a site or something, or if he's in like just a 5-on-5, he'll just destroy the whole team. But you put him in 1v1, you know, there's plenty of players that are worse than him that'll beat him in the 1v1. They just know how to play it better. So the fact that coldzera is clutch, and the fact that, as Zeus says, they set the team up this way, it's a shame, right, that for whatever reason, I think he just never really liked me back then, mate, because I gave him a fucking sick nickname I came up with. Put it this way, think of the nicknames in Counter-Strike I've come up with, like Nip Magic, fucking like the Chosen One, Elige, loads of them, mate. I've got Kingmaker for NBK. Like, I always pick the nickname, basically. I don't like come up with it out of nowhere. I try to make it fit the personality or the playing style, right? So for coldzera, the one I had, I came up with it right after the second Major one. I called him the Brazilian Terminator, because in the Terminator movies, right, the premise of the Terminator movies is, spoiler, I think sure everyone's seen them by now, right? So there's obviously these killer robots from the future, right, that are coming, and you know that it is their mission once you find out to destroy you or someone else, right? Well, that means, right, you know this guy's coming for you. In the movie, right, the whole premise is obviously you can't just come in the first 5 minutes. Like, you know, the Terminators, he's coming on a truck, then you have to get in a car and drive away, but then he catches up with you on a fucking bike, and then you go up an elevator, but he climbs up the window. You know, like, the idea is, the terrifying thing about the Terminator isn't even at the end when he's going to kill you. It's like the whole time you're stressed because it feels like, fuck, this guy, he's never stopping. And I used to feel out with coldzera, because even though people say, like, he's a beta, like, mate, he's the best trade fragger probably ever in that scenario. Like, he didn't bait, because my rule is, like, it ain't a bait if you get the kill. Like, that, you actually played it correctly. And this guy would just, it's like, it didn't even feel like he was fast. It felt like he was just like walking you down, and you just know it's inevitable. Unless someone kills him, he's going to keep coming. He's going to kill this guy, and then suddenly he's in a 1v2. Now he's going to win that. Like, that in a way, that, in a totally different way, that can be more intimidating than Simple or something like that, you know, because Simple and them can just blow you out the water, but there's something about that is scary, dude.
Yeah, I think that comparison is really right on the money, because I used to stand behind them, and Cold, like, I'm watching Simple's games, and he's killing guys left and right, and it's insane. And from behind, I swear to you, I never saw coldzera kill people, but somehow at the end of the day, he had like 30 kills, 25 kills. Yes. He was consistently there, and I'm like, oh my God, I remember we were finishing a match. I'm like, Fallen, you played insane. Oh my God, you were insane. And then he's like, yeah, but I couldn't even get like 5. I was 5 kills behind Cold. I'm like, how the hell was Cold in front of you? And no, he was always there. It's like, he gets that first free kill, he gets the easy kill, and they're coming at him, and he's knocking them down. And it doesn't seem insane. It's like, but it's always chipping away at the economy, always killing every single one, and he's not chasing ecos. And so it does. So you didn't all the time see like 4 spray down or something like that. He had those highlight moments, and those we know were highlights, but he always got 1 or 2 kills per round almost, which is insane. And you never saw it. It just seemed so easy watching from behind. We couldn't even understand. And then when he explained what he was thinking, we're like, holy shit, this guy is on another level, at least right now. You know, like, he's explaining so much. So we learned a lot from him in the beginning. I think I told Thorin this. He, not only that, he understood so much that he helped make so many calls. It's insane. Like, Fallen had a right-hand man in Cold, that someone who understood tactically the game as well, that was insane. So basically over there, everyone could make calls and make reads, but you had me as a coach who can come up with a game plan to try and anti-strat someone or abuse some weakness. You have Fallen with an insane read from everything, and you have Cold who's reading the game mid-round and giving adaptations. It was so well tactically, and I thank Cold a lot for that. I think we all helped each other, but we learned a lot from him, especially in the beginning. Like, he had some new ideas and new ways to read things just based off of one smoke that he knew that was making the map. So he always knew how to be positioned, because he literally understood the rotations better than anyone at that time. Which makes sense now that how is he playing like weird positions in FaZe now? If I'm coldzera, I'd have to have my positions.
I know what you mean, sure.